Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Asia binti Abdul Halim. Today, our group will be present about the Halal Logistic company that based in South Korea, which is CX Logistic. So, for the introduction, CXL Halal is one of Sejong Group global brands. This logistic company is supported by their Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, MAFRA, and Korea Food Research Institute. Throughout 2019, CXL Halal will lead Halal Logistic by building a Halal Logistic mainly in the transportation system. It's organized by Korea Research Institute. This pilot run is expected to encourage exportation of halal products in Korea. JAKIM, MUI in Indonesia, ESMA in UAE, and MUIS in Singapore are conducting certification for logistics centers, transportation, and terminals. Next is company profile. Company background. CL Logistic is under Sejong Group company, which Sejong Group started as Global Logistic Company in 1999, and they specialize in professional service for ocean, air, land transport, and totally logistic. Sejong Group started the business at Seoul in 1999 and relocated the HQ at Bukchang-dong in 2001. After that, they grew bigger until now. In 2019, they have strengthened their company with located two shipping company at Incheon and Gimpo Airport, South Korea. After that is management team. The Sejong Group is led by the CEO, which is Maurice Han. So this is the organizational chart of Sejong Group. It is divided into two departments, which is Group Sales HQ and Management Administration HQ. Each of the department has their own under company that they need to manage every day to make sure that their logistic company always be the first choice in South Korea. Next is vision and mission. Vision of the CXL Halal is be a company where people who create the future come together to recognize and respect each other, and to create core technologies company that dreams of a community that lives together. Next, for the missions, it's leading the global logistic company that is creating our future to the power of being joined together by everyone, in which there is a shipping group to make everyone's dream come true.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Wan Nur Ifa Akila binti Wan Jismaini. Okay, next, CS Logistics Service Provided. CS Logistics provides customers with quality services and meets the demands of their customers by making full use of their national networks and integrated logistic methods. With their real-time monitoring service, they assure speedy and safe delivery of cargo from door to door. So firstly, the service that are provided by CX Logistics is ground transport. Ground transport and freight forwarding services, along with other ancillary service, helps them to provide tailor-made logistic solutions to their clients, which they design as per their clients' requirements and business ecosystem to help cut their clients' cost, delivery time, while focusing on end-user satisfaction. Okay, secondly is cargo. Their team of cargo experts are always available to help clients with any queries the clients might have. They will study clients' requirements and provide with a quote that will not only suit clients' budget but also save their clients considerable amount of money in the long term. Thirdly is warehousing. Their warehousing and distribution services are regularly audited and analyzed to ensure that it meets the contemporary business models. And all upgrades are made to ensure their services continue to help clients meet their logistic requirements efficiently. Okay, fourthly is logistic service. They provide logistic services in the nation, whether it is freight transportation, supply chain solutions, warehousing and distribution, customer resource area services, customs, security and insurance. temperature control logistics, industry sector solutions, brokerage or lead logistic-based solutions. Fifthly is trucking service. Their trucking service is based on the principle of providing their clients with the flexibility and reliability to move legal load across town or across the country whenever their clients want. And lastly is storage. With their vast network or warehouses and distribution centers spread throughout the country, it becomes much easier to cater an audience in a record response time, which is the key factor in winning the heart of the customer and having an edge over the competitors. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Fatan Zakira binti Abdullah Fauzi. Next, I will explain about Halal Logistic information which is under Halal Logistic Certification Scheme. Okay, firstly, CSL Halal has received Halal Logistic Certification from the Korean Muslim Federation and approved by JAKIM. Okay, secondly, the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs and the Korea Food Science Institute have sponsored CSL Halal. Okay, thirdly, Sejong Group has been collaborating with the Halal Industry Institute of Korea to institute a national government program. Okay, by developing a halal logistic transportation infrastructure, CSL Halal will operate halal logistic in 2019. Next, organized by the Korea Food Research Institute, the export of halal goods to Korea is expected to be promoted by Malaysia, Indonesia, the UAE and Singapore, which are leading global logistic benchmark for the management and dignity of the halal supply chain are accredited for logistic center, transport and terminal. One of the partner of CSL Group is Korean Institute of Halal Industry. Okay, next, they also use MS1500-2009, MS2200-2008, MS2424-2010, and MS2400-2010 Part 1, Part 2 and Part 3 as their guideline to make sure all the process follow the Sharia requirement. Okay, next, for halal policy, the company halal policy is to maintaining halal purity by shedding halal good into the global halal industry from non-halal element in the supply chain. In the process of buying goods, manufacturing them and supplying them to customer by delivery, the relevance of farm to fork is growing. Okay, as a result, halal logistics are gaining tremendous popularity as a core component of the halal supply chain. Okay, next, in order to ensure the halal integrity of shipping, this organization provide halal logistic transport vehicle, and in order to avoid cross-contamination with non-halal goods, the halal zone in the truck is isolated. Okay, next, for halal internal committee, in our research from the website of CSL Halal and other sources, it is difficult to find the people that are in charge in internal halal committee, as mostly from our research it is mainly focused on the CSL Halal company. Okay, next, in their company, they do certain process too. Okay, first of all, they clean the specific area to remove the impurities using detergent. Then they rinse and the first wash until it clearly clean. After that, they prepare the equipment and material needed, and then they mix the clay and water. Next, they clean thoroughly using the clay water and then rinse it for 6 times with clean water. After they're done with the cleansing process, the Muslim supervisor that are in charge need to check the process to make sure all the process already done. Okay, after that, the container need to be sealed to avoid any contamination. And lastly, the officer can place a sticker to show that the container have been served to. Okay, next for traceability technology, CSL Halal is preparing the world's first consultancy scheme with traceability of halal logistics. Their organization is designing a halal logistic transport vehicle and container cleaning system, developing a quick and reliable diagnostic system for halal identification, and eventually developing a standard operating procedure (SOP) for the quality system for halal logistic system management. Okay, next, CSL Halal has used halal logistic management technology based on the blockchain and halal fast inspection technology as their traceability technology for raw material and finished goods. Okay, thirdly, the technology of the halal blockchain is a technology that resembles a sound solution that can ensure security and transparency. A halal traceability system based on the blockchain enables end consumer to navigate the entire supply chain.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Numastura Binti Syaril. I will be explaining about the flowchart of CXL Halal. So, from the website of CXL Halal, I found that there are 7 steps or process of the flowchart, which is farm, produce, transportation, storage, wholesale, retail, and lastly fork. So for farm process, they will be getting the raw material at the farm, and then for produce, they will be producing the raw materials and then turns it into a new products. After that, they will be going through the transportation process, and then after transportation, they will be store the products or goods at the storage. After that, for wholesale, it is a business of selling goods in large quantities and at a low price. After that, the products or goods will be sold at the retail. And the last one is for fork. The products will be served or sold to the customer.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nura Azrin binti Muhammad Zamri. Next, we're gonna proceed with the halal control points in logistic, which is the process step from the raw material until the fork to the customer. Okay, the first process step is the raw material from farm. The least potential contamination for the raw material from farm is probably a pesticide. And how and what rationale in the pesticide is maybe there's been a cross contamination during the farmer take that raw material from the farm, and the likelihood in the receiving raw material from farm is unlikely, and for the severity is critical, and the risk ranking is moderate. And how we control from this happen is cut less the use of this chemical chemical pesticide. Instead, use the natural friendly one like build healthy soil with the compost and March. And is this the raw material is a process step for the halal control point? And the answer is no. And then we proceed with the process step. Okay, the potential that may happen in the produce step is the probability of harmful substance like glass, wood, metal that may get into the product. Okay, and when this happen, what can effect to the customer? it can cause a serious illness, and for the likelihood it is unlikely, and the severity is insignificant, and the risk ranking is low because it does not affect the halal status of the during the produce step. And then how we control the situation when it's happened is doing the regularly check the product from unwanted substances, and during the produce step, it is the halal control point, and the answer is no. Okay, next we're gonna proceed with the transportation step. And what is the list of potential contaminants during the transportation is maybe there have a parasite in the transportation, and it can cause the spoilage microorganism to the food when we put in the transportation to get delivery to the customer. And the likelihood for the transportation process is unlikely, and the severity is insignificant, so the risk ranking is low. And we control this from this process from happen that they must control the temperature and temperature monitoring during this process to avoid the microorganism happen in the transportation. And this process is not the halal control point. Okay, next we're gonna we go through the storage step. Okay, the list of the potential contamination during the storage is probably there is a porcine in the storage that we do not know that maybe happen. And the rationale is the probability to the contamination to happen is high, because if we put the halal product and a person in one storage, there must the probability of the contamination happen is high. That's why in the likelihood is likely, for the severity is critical, and that cause the risk ranking to be high. And how we control this from happen? Separate halal and non-halal storage to avoid cross contamination. And it is the storage step is the halal control point. Yes, it is, because when we didn't separate the halal and non-halal things, it does affect the cross contamination through the halal product. Next we're gonna proceed with the next process step, which is the wholesale, and the list potential contaminant that may happen in the wholesale, the pest control, and it may lead to the probability to the growth of the substantial house flies or mosquito or even flies and those insects. And the severity is a likelihood is unlikely, severity is significant, and the risk ranking is low. How we control this from happen is monitor any potential entrance like doors, windows, or ventilation to ensure that they are sealed from the outside to prevent pests or insect from getting in the storage. And this process step of the wholesale is not a halal control point. Okay, next we're gonna proceed with the retailing process step. And the probability of the microbial contamination of food to be in the retailing process is maybe the halal and non-halal raw and cooked meats display and sold together, and the likelihood is likely and the severity is critical, and the result lead to the risk ranking is high. And how we prevent it from happen is this, the use of the same utensils, knife and cutting boards should not be used for both halal and non-halal raw and cooked product, and must use separately. So when we separate the utensil, knife, cutting boards, and we can and the contamination may did not happen. And is this the retailing process is a halal control point? Yes, because the risk ranking is high for the non-halal product effect to the halal product. Next, we're gonna proceed with the next halal control point.
Next, I will be explaining about the HCP worksheet analysis for retailing and for customer process. So for retailing, the list of potential contaminant or precursor is microbial contamination of food. The rationale for inclusion and exclusion as potential contaminant or precursor is halal and non-halal raw and cooked meats are displayed and sold together. Then for the evaluation, for the likelihood it is likely, severity is critical, and risk ranking is high. So what can we control is the same utensils, knives and cutting boards should not be used for both halal and non-halal raw and cooked products, and must be used separately. And yes, this is the HCP process steps. And the last one is for customer, the list of potential contaminants or precursor is a virus. Then for the rationale for inclusion and exclusion as potential contaminant or precursor is contaminations resulting from the personal hygiene. And then for the evaluation, for likelihood it is unlikely, for severity it is moderate, and risk ranking is low. So for the control measure that need to be taken care of is wash hands before touching the food. It is for the workers that will be handling the process. And then it is not a HCP process steps. So in conclusion, I think that CSL Halal have a very good effort in maintaining the halal integrity. This is because they have effort in launching the halal logistic system in transportations. They also had obtained halal logistic certifications in order to gain trust from the customers that want to consume halal products. Moreover, CSL also consider on the global halal standards in order to because every country have different mazhab or halal standards, so every country can accept the halal standards of the transportations. Then for my recommendations, I think that every country needs to establish global halal standards, and each country must strengthen the regulations for the halal logistic law, so this can help in protecting the halalness. So to summarize, everyone can play roles in implement the halal logistics operations.